Hey, guess what? This is my lazy vlog, The Mandela Effect. By now, you have there's a good chance that you've probably heard about this in the recent times. It's been becoming more and more popular. The whole concept has been kind of the movement, I don't know what you want to call it. It's been gaining popularity online. If you don't know what the Mandela Effect is, just do, like Google exists. I'll tell you. That's what I'm talking about. Of course I'm going to tell you. So it was, the Mandela, there's a lot here, so I have to process the thoughts in my head. This is what happens when you're doing a live lazy vlog instead of like filming it and editing it. You get to deal with all of the moments. Anyways, so the Mandela Effect, so named for Nelson Mandela because there's a large group of people who believe that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s, and a large group of people that believe, I should say not believe, but remember, and I mean like they remember, like it's not that they think or that they're wrong, or that they believe, but they distinctly remember that he died in the 80s, and other people that remember that he died more recently, like I think in the 2000 teens, and then there's another group of people that believe that he's still alive, and then of course there's another group of people that don't even know who he is. But that's another thing. And here's the thing: this Mandela Effect has been noticed more and more with other things. Like, for example, the most popular one that everybody knows is the BearenstEin bears. I say Steen because I remember Steen. BearenstEin, even though apparently it's always been Stain with an A instead of an E. BearenstAin. And that's what it's always been. And they're wrong because it's clearly been Steen ever since I was a kid. It's always been BearenstEin. So whoever thinks it's Stain is wrong. And most recently, there was the Sinbad Genie movie. Was Sinbad in a movie called Shazam? Shazam or I don't remember. No, I get it mixed up. There's Sinbad played a genie in a movie called Shazam, or Shaquille O'Neal played a genie in a movie called Kazam. And it's not even either or. It's did one of them exist? Because the Shaquille O'Neal one does exist and is real, but then the Sinbad one, some people remember it existing, including myself. I remember both, but there's no evidence that it ever existed. So, but it does exist, and it's either a big controversy or it's a Mandela Effect. Because, and here's the thing about the Mandela Effect. It's like when you notice a thing like that, like the Ford logo. Look at the Ford logo. There's a little loop-de-loop in the F that was never there before. Here's the thing about the Mandela Effect. Once you see a thing that is once you see it, like there's an internal like feeling of that's wrong. Like that's not what it is. I'm right and that's wrong. Even though it's not wrong. People and if you don't get that feeling, then you just think people are wrong and they're remembering it wrong. But no, it's the thing that's wrong. And here's the thing: it's like the concept, the reasoning behind it that is the most popular is that parallel realities, alternate universes, alternate realities, parallel universes. That's the way you want to say it. In that everybody knows the whole multiverse theory, in that every decision that you make spawns a parallel reality where you made the opposite decision. So there's an infinite number of parallel universes. And so, what do you remember, BearenstEin or BearenstAin? And what if I told you that no matter what you said to that question, you're right? Or at least there's a parallel universe where you're right, and you might be from that parallel universe, and you might have traveled across the barriers that separate one universe from another. Some people call it the void, if you're a Whovian, which I am. Or there's if you're what is the term for people who are fans of C.S. Lewis? One of my favorite book series, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Wood Between the Worlds, or The Woods Between the Worlds. From the first book, the one that takes place before The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Ooh, I just made a literary reference. Anyways, so if you remember it different from what it is, then you're from an alternate reality, and you are now in a different reality where it is different from what you remember. Here's what's great about all this. I'm shaking the camera because I'm excited, man. This is whether or not you buy into this, whether or not you think that you're from an alternate reality or that people are just remembering things wrong, wherever you fall on the belief spectrum, I talk with my hands. Sorry. Wherever you fall on the belief spectrum of this issue, despite whether it's reality or not, there's one inescapable fact that you cannot escape, which is the definition of inescapable, about this Mandela Effect. Well, two, I should say two, because the second one being that it's hugely popular and it's everybody's like buying into it in one way or another and it's all over but the other thing is that it is a fantastic device for fiction or science fiction, storytelling, plot device. This is why time travel exists in movies, because it's great whether or not it's feasible in real life. It's great for movies and storytelling. I point over here, even though there's nothing over here, even though the Mandela Effect may or may not be hogwash, I just used the word called hogwash. It's a great storytelling device, and the potential for that is just mind-blowing. And guess what? Yeah, that's the main thing that the Darkest Timeline is about. You know, that show that I've been working on for a while now, that's like my main focus, that I'm running a fundraiser for. Donate to the fundraiser, or support it, or share it, or whatever. Links in the place where links generally are. Wink, wink. But that's like the main point of the show, is that, and I don't want to get too much into detail, but I'll tell you this, if this is a subject that fascinates you, then you're going to love this series, because that's a big part of what it's about, man. Imagine that you are from an alternate reality, and you woke up one day in a different reality where something minor like the BearenstEin or BearenstAin bears is the only difference between your reality and the new reality that you are now in, that is exactly the same in every way except for the BearenstEin bears. Now imagine that we figure that out, and that leads to a war, an all-out war, where the BearenstEin and the BearenstAin factions are fighting because the BearenstAin people have to defend their home world, their home timeline, from the BearenstEin invaders. This is what the Darkest Timeline is going to be about. Right? I just blew the minds of everybody who's watching this, because how epic does that sound? You know you want to see the series get made. You know I just totally grabbed you, sucked you in, and now you're going to donate something, even if it's only $5. Now you're in. I know it. I can see it in your eye because you're still watching this video, so I can see that's how it works, or at least it does in a parallel universe. Anyways, if you have a spare minute, check out the link in the place where links generally are. Look at my fundraising campaign. Read about what's going on there, because I go into more detail there. And check out the fantastic perks. There's some really cool perks. I just added 2 more perks this morning, because the Darkest Timeline, not only is it going to revolve around that, but it's also going to be based on the short film Off the Cuff that I did a couple years ago. And so there's some new perks that I added, where with like the outtakes and behind the scenes from that and some other cool things. Just go look, because there's cool things on there, and you never know which one of them is something you're going to be, interested in. I think. I don't know. And if you're not, you know what? It's okay. If you can't afford to donate, that's totally okay. You can still help by sharing the video, sharing the campaign, helping me get as many people's attention as we can possibly get, because this is going to be epic. It's going to be the biggest thing I've ever done, and I'm excited, and you should be excited too. And now I've talked for 10 minutes, even though some people think that that's too long, so I'm going to go. Hey, guess what? This was my lazy vlog.